Today I'm bringing you a 2011 Nissan Maxima, and this thing pumps out 290 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. I believe the maximum output for the horsepower is 290 at 6,000 RPMs, and the maximum torque figure, 261, comes out at 4,400 RPMs. So the basic, right off the bat, this is a very, very, very luxurious car. We'll start off by saying that. It's marketed as a sports sedan, but if you're comparing this to sort of, I guess, the class size, you're talking about an M5, an M4, and anything of that size caliber that's like a full-size sedan, not even a mid-size. But I think a Camry and Honda Accord will definitely fit in this section. This one will output definitely more horsepower because it's got a V6 in it. Most people are actually starting to put in, four-cylinder turbos into their engines. And I also reviewed a Kia Optima SX Turbo, which has the four-cylinder and also outputs pretty similar figures with horsepower, just a lot more torque. Whoopsies. First off, I want to talk about the CVT transmission, and it's definitely more of a it's a ginormous luxurious feature. Like it's not sporty, and I'm not gonna kid myself and tell you that it's sporty, because it's really not sporty at all. It's very luxurious, and this thing has paddles, and it has sort of a manual shift up and shift down Tektronix, and it does have paddle shifters as well, which they're plastic, but they feel pretty substantial when you click on them. It's got traction mode. I think the one thing that I'd give it up to Nissan for is the interior. The soft touch material is very nice. But I've also been in a Nissan Altima, and that costs probably like $5 or $6 grand less than this one. And it definitely, I would definitely get the Altima over the Maxima any day, money-wise. This car, I believe, starts out at around $35,000, and it's a ridiculous amount for what you get in this specific car. The Volkswagen CC is similarly spec'd out, and I don't see why these sports sedans cost so much. That's the beans right there. There's no turbo lag. You get that nice sound of the naturally aspirated V6, but you don't get very, very high torque figures like you would get in a full four-cylinder. Obviously, this is a lot more, you're using the gear shift. It's the only time you can feel any sort of shift shock. Any other time, it's all continuous variable transmission, and it's very, very nice and smooth. So I have to give it up to Nissan for that, and also the Bose sound system, which is phenomenal. The basses are great. The quality of the sound is great as well, coming off the radio or auxiliary. One thing that I'd have a gripe about is the Bluetooth audio that you get in this car. It does not connect directly to your phone or to an iPod or whatever. It doesn't sync up and it doesn't play the music off the Bluetooth, which is quite disappointing to me, especially because there's no USB port in this car, which is a huge bummer. There's only an auxiliary port right in the center stack here. Let's see, dual climate control, which is really nice. Yeah, this thing's a heavy pig. This thing is about 3,500 pounds. It's very, very substantial. I mean, I feel like I'm driving a boat. There's a lot of hood in front of me here, and I don't know, the interior is very, very good. The seats are not very well bolstered at all. They're very catered to substantial American sized men, which obviously I'm not your average sized American. In addition to that, I'd probably say the seats are very, very nice. They're very, very luxurious, but as for keeping a person, you know, from moving laterally, there's no side bolsters. They're really, really not. I really don't think it's catered to. It's really not catered to a skinny folk. So I mean, it gets up and goes. There's zero shift shock. It feels like you're driving an electric car with you know, one gear, because that's essentially what it's doing for you. This car specifically has a sunroof. It does not have navigation and not a rear view camera. It comes with HomeLink and the auto dimming rear view mirror with the, you know, directional northwest and south indications here. So the fuel economy ratings are 19 in the city and 26 on the highway. And my brother is averaging, and this is combined, averaging around 22.5, 23. He's got about 43,000 miles on this specific car, and it feels like it's brand new. One thing that I do like is that it does have a heated steering wheel, which is nice. The rear seats, they do not fold down, so cargo room is just what you would have in the trunk, and it's really not what I would call very accommodating. It reduces what you can do with the car, you know, in a pinch where you might need, you know, to put a bike in the car, or you might need to fit, I don't know, a table from IKEA or something like that. And it really, really reduces the amounts of storage that you get from, you know, folding, you know, 60/40 folding back seats. As for rear seat room, there's a great accommodation for you. The headroom's not so great. It's a sloping rear roof, and that's probably the only bad thing about the rear seats, in addition to the not folding down. And you know, you really don't have to worry about you know, the drama in this car. And you know, with the CVT, which is notoriously known to be crap, you know, with the Subaru WRX having the CVT, everybody's bashing on that as well. But you know, if you live in the city, or you're commuting all the time and you're in traffic all the time, you know, it really makes no sense to not have, you know, an automatic transmission car. And you can't blame people who are always stuck in traffic and don't want to have to worry about the clutch pedal. Oh, so one thing I forgot to mention is the when you put it in reverse, the side mirrors automatically go down so you can see the ground, which is kind of a cool feature, I think. I mean, obviously there's no backup camera on this car, but I think to supplement for that, it's a nice feature to have. Also, the driver's side, not the passenger side, but the driver's side view mirror is it's actually an auto dimming mirror, which is awesome. Like, I think that's something that should be standard on every car. I like the way that it handles for, you know, a big sedan. I drove a Dodge Charger my last business trip, and that thing is a freaking pig, and it does not handle at all. That thing is just a ginormous piece of crap. Obviously it was, you know, the V6 standard, but this is also a V6, and this is probably a little smaller than that car, but I mean, that car was just, I cannot get over the fact of how bad that specific car was with handling. If you wanted to make this thing, you know, considered in the world as a sports sedan, you gotta, I mean, it says sports sedan on the side of the car, and you know, to really call this a sports sedan, you gotta definitely have, you know, a 6-speed dual clutch transmission. You know, maybe they take that out of the GTR and dial it down just a little bit, obviously, because they're trying to cater to more luxurious people. Also, you guys can give me a little insight on that new design of the Maxima, of the 2016 Maxima. It just looks so disgusting. It is not pretty at all.